Hello guys, in today's video I'm going to help you how to import images from different vendors into EVE-NG. If you recall, in the last two videos we learned how to install EVE-NG as well as how to explore the EVE interface. And we've created a very small scenario with two VPC. In this video, we're going to import images of different devices or vendors into EVE-NG software. And then we'll run a different scenario with EVE-NG. So first, let's look at the images supported by EVE-NG. The first one is the Cisco iOS emulator known as Dynamics, in which we can simulate Cisco routers, like the 7000 routers, 3000 series routers, and next are the Linux-based iOS that was previously used in the IOU, like Cisco Layer 2 and Layer 3 switches. The next type is Qemu images, which supports a variety range of devices and appliances like Cisco, Juniper, F5, FortiGate, Citrix, and many more. In this video, we'll import an image file and a bin file and finally a QCOV2 file into EVE-NG. And we're gonna run a scenario with these devices. So before we start, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video and write the comment below if you have any question about how to install or other question. So we should use a software to transfer images file to EVE-NG. This software can be WinSCP. So we'll use WinSCP to connect to EVE-NG virtual machine. So to see the IP address of EVE-NG, we should go to the console and here we can see the IP. We'll connect to it with WinSCP. First, you should install WinSCP. So I have already installed WinSCP. The credential is root and the password is EVE or EVE. So we are now in the root directory. Here is the path. We need to copy a file according to the EVE file types. For IOV files, we should go to opt UnitLab add-ons and IOU and then bin. And Dynamics files are located in opt UnitLab add-ons Dynamics, and the Qemu files are in opt UnitLab add-ons Qemu. First, we should copy one of the image files on EVE-NG. We'll go to the desired path and we'll copy the image file and paste it here. And now here is our EVE-NG full pack images. Here you can click on download. And here you can click on shop now. This is the great EVE-NG, which is included more than 30 popular and great images that you can practice CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE. So here when you pay, you will access to the 17 gigabyte of EVE community VMDK file and you can import it like the instruction here and you can start practicing without wasting your time configuring your EVE-NG and pay $100 for CCNA and CCNP and $1,000 for CCIE to access all the images that you want. And here is the full video, about 2 minutes. You can learn how to import this VMDK file to your VMware workstation or player or your ESXi and start practicing your CCNA and CCNP and CCIE. And up here you can see the list of images that included to this VMDK EVE-NG file. Here you can click on this image to see it in the full screen, or of course you can download it from here. Here as you can see, We have ASA with its version, CSR 100 as you can see, with its username and password and the structure here. And next is 9K, which is a great appliance to practice a data center certification. And this is ACS, ISE, IPS as you can see, and VWLC as you can see here, UCS, and 3PAL HP, Huawei USG, and Firepower, Juniper, FortiGate, F5, and the rest of them. As you can see, even you have OpenE software-defined storage. You can make the complex lab with these images, and you will have the Windows appliance and Linux and ESXi and the rest of them, as you can see. That means when you buy this product, you will have all the images inside this EVE-NG full pack image. And you don't need to pay $100 or $1,000 for these images. And one of the frequently asked questions from me, is it possible to download all the images from this EVE-NG full pack to your computer? Yes, it's possible. You should go to the exact directory on your EVE-NG and you will see all the images, Qemu files, and iOSs in this EVE-NG full pack image. And here you can simply click on Add to basket, and you can click on view and purchase this software, which is great for you, and you don't need to waste your time. As you know, configuring EVE-NG is very hard, and on the other hand, you should pay $100 or $1,000 to pay for the images, but you only pay this price and you will have immediate access to this EVE-NG full pack image without any expiration, as it is community version, and you can upgrade it to the pro version with all the images that you have inside this full pack, which is great pack. You can now download and start practicing CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE, and you don't need waste your time to learn EVE-NG, how to import images, how to configure them, and you don't need to take a time again to configure EVE-NG. So the images transferred successfully. Well, after adding the image file to EVE-NG, we need to run a command to let the routers work perfectly. You can find this command in the software installation document or also in the documentation on the website. To run this command, we need to connect to Eve with PuTTY. So we'll use the root user and the password is Eve again. And we'll paste the command here. Now we have to run this router in EVE-NG. We'll go to our browser and enter the IP and connect with the admin user and the password Eve. So we've previously created a scenario in the last video, and now we'll add a new scenario. There are two ways we can add new nodes to our topology. Either right click and select the node, or select a node option from here and adding an object. Well, here you can see Cisco iOS 7206 is blue, and that means we can use it in our topology. Well, let's say 2 and save. So we've added two Cisco routers in this scenario, and now we'll connect them easily right here. And start. As you can see, the devices turns blue when we start them in our EVE-NG topology. To access the console, just click on the devices and we'll have a PuTTY console for each of our devices, as you can see. I have two routers in this simple scenario. Now our routers are ready to configure. So we don't need the initial configuration, and we'll press N and enter. So we'll enter to the router configuration mode. Now we'll give IP to both routers and we'll test their connection. So I will say show IP interface brief command shows the status of the interfaces. As you can see, we have one fast Ethernet 0 interface on both routers and with administratively down status. I want to give these two interface an IP and check the connection between their interfaces. We'll go to the config mode and set the desired interface and IP address 10.20.10.1 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0 on router 1. Then we'll say no shutdown. And we'll say show IP interface brief again. We're going to do the same process on the second router. And now as you can see, the interface is up now in R1. So let's change the name of the routers to R1 and R2 to make it better for you to understand. Now we'll check the connection. We'll ping R2 router from R1 router. You see that the connection is established, and now we'll check the connection from R2 to R1. And again, we'll see the connection is perfectly established. Great. And now we're going to add a Qemu file to EVE-NG. We'll see the scenario here. To close a scenario, the devices must be off. Now is the time to add an ASA V to EVE-NG. If you recall, that Qemu files should be added in their desired location. So note that all the Qemu files must have a directory, and your Qemu files must be located in their specific directory. Then we'll add the desired file in the path, which is opt unitlab add-ons Qemu. We can see a directory here. Inside the directory, there must be a ASAV Qemu file, as you can see. So again, after adding a new file to EVE-NG, we must use the wrapper command. So first, we should go to the specific location where our Qemu files is located, and we'll apply the command opt unitlab wrapper un_wrapper a fix permissions. And we'll go back to the EVE-NG interface and build a new lab and add a new node here, which is ASAV. So we'll start it to make sure it works perfectly. Cisco ASAV now is loaded, and let's say show version. And here we can see the Cisco ASAV version, which it has 8 interfaces. So thanks for watching. In today's lesson we learned how we can add the dynamics file, the IOL file, and the Qemu files. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and please comment below if you have any question and like the video.